I am Desirae Jones. I'm the president and CEO of Desirae Jones Co. We are a marketing communications agency that centers our work on social impact. And I'm excited for you guys to join us on the very first episode of Destination Impact Podcast. Destination Impact is a podcast that was created specifically by our agency to tell stories that inspire us. We want to highlight individuals, organizations, and corporations who are doing work that we believe could change the world. Our goal is to have something that can inspire every listener, not just people who are working in marketing or people who are working in the nonprofit sector. We want those individuals who are interested in doing purpose-driven work and things throughout their life to listen in and be inspired by the stories that we want to tell. Our agency is committed to doing the type of work that will impact marginalized people and also underserved communities out there who are doing the same work that we are, that are driven by passion and dedicating every day to serving their community. Our goal is to not just tell stories that are local, not to tell stories that are U.S. centric. We want to tell global stories. So that's why we're here today, and I thank you guys for tuning in. I love the work that I do day in and day out. Like, I'm a marketer. I do communications. I've done corporate communications. I work in the film industry. I worked in the television industry, but nothing really brought me into work each day until I knew that the work that we were doing was actually making a difference. And for some reason, I would just go back to my first corporate gig. I worked for the company for about 2.5 years before I was given the opportunity to build the company's first corporate social responsibility program. It was crazy because not only did I not know anything about corporate social responsibility, but I also it was hard to identify where the brand, what they really cared about. And so we had to explore, like, what are some of the things that we're doing that already are adjacent to corporate social responsibility and lean into those things. And it wasn't until I moved on from that job and went on other places until I realized, like, wait, what we did was actually a big deal. And that we got the opportunity to partner with the United Nations Environment Program. We launched a Young Filmmakers Program. We did all of these things that ultimately, if we had built upon them, it would have made a huge impact and even a global impact for that brand. And so I realized at that time, I'm not really here to win competitive marketing or communications or PR awards. I'm here to do work that matters. And that's what's always led me. And that's what always encouraged me to pursue certain projects. So when I started my agency, I got the opportunity to work with the organization called Jumpstart, which was the organization that I volunteered with when I was a college student. I got to help them to launch their Read for the Record program. And every year I had volunteered for Read for the Record. But it was like going inside and meeting those people who were coming in and day out. And when you think about a nonprofit, those people are typically underpaid and overworked. But they were doing it for the love. Like it didn't matter who they were coming in every day because they knew the communities that they served needed them to show up every day. And that was what inspired me. That was what made me think, ooh, I want to do more of this. And sometimes I wanted to, like, even when the relationship ended, I cared about the work. I wanted to call them back to say, are y'all good? Are y'all, are y'all really, still able to do the things that maybe I can volunteer my time? And so that's when I realized, hey, yes, I have an agency. I have to bring in funds to be able to pay people and pay myself and take care of my family. But there has to be a way to be able to do both. And I know that there are courageous organizations out here who want to do work to impact communities that need it most. And those are the organizations that I want to partner with. Those are the clients that I want to support. And so I really got some great opportunities as a result of really focusing on multicultural work. Multicultural work is, like, by design, ultimately ends up helping marginalized communities. And so oftentimes when we went with clients, our goal in mind was, how can we take this client who wants to reach this community and make sure that the organizations that are actually doing work in the community benefit from that experience. We didn't want it to always be transactional. We didn't want it to always be, we're bringing a brand who doesn't understand the multicultural space into that space so that they can extract. We wanted to make sure that they were depositing in those communities. We wanted to make sure that they were leaving something behind, even if the relationship ended, that those organizations or those communities were positively impacted by that engagement. And so as we kind of explore more multicultural work, we just kept getting introduced to brands that were more and more courageous. I can give you an example of when I work with Pfizer. Pfizer has an amazing colleague resource group called the Global Black Community. The Global Black Community was like a force within the organization, making sure that they were able to hire more diverse talent, making sure that they were able to serve diverse communities. I mean, just for example, a big part of a pharmaceutical company and making sure that they are serving people adequately is making sure that there's more diversity in their clinical trials. While on the consumer side of things, or on the outside of a pharmaceutical company, we know that Black people especially have had very, very tumultuous relationships with the medical community. And so a lot of times that community is not necessarily trusting or welcoming clinical trials into their community. I watched Pfizer and their employees really work diligently to rebuild trust within the community, to engage with organizations that were already serving the community that the community trusted, to make sure that when they were bringing out the COVID vaccine, they were factoring in Black people into that clinical trial process. And a lot of what they did was thankless work, and nobody knew that there were Black scientists behind it. There were Black people that were focused specifically on disease sets that impacted the Black community. And you never get to see the inside of that. And I thought it was so beautiful talking to their employees and seeing what drove them every day. And so that work in itself really fueled me. I was just like, it is commercial, but if you come behind the scenes, it actually is making an impact. And I think that was kind of the start of what turned into, this is what I want to do every single day. And so I kept meeting people who wanted to also do that same work. I kept meeting people who were also passionate about things, and they might be a marketing expert, but just marketing in itself or just PR in itself was not driving them. It was the end result, seeing people's lives be impacted, seeing change. And I think that is where we kind of started as an agency to say, okay, this is the work that we want to do. It's not just PR. It's not just marketing. We aren't just selling tickets. We aren't just getting butts and seats. We are making sure that the things that we align ourselves with are the things that are truly going to change the world. And we have even looked at ourselves as an agency to say, in the absence of a corporate partner, in the absence of those dollars, if we have done this type of work and we've been able to scratch the surface, who else wants in? How can we build upon that work? We have to be intentional about that. And we have to, if we say that we're a social impact agency, we have to put the onus on ourselves to actually make sure that as an agency, we're making an impact. So that's a long way of telling you like the inspiration. And so what I know is that I realized over time, our circle started to be filled with people who were doing hard work, people who were doing purpose-driven work. It was just a natural shift. So all of the people that we had been working with, all of the people that we were surrounded by and had relationships with were all doing purpose-driven work. So what you'll see is the first season of Destination Impact will be all my friends because I realized like, wait, I don't even have to go very far. In the city of Atlanta, there are so many people that have literally devoted their careers and devoted their entire organizations to making sure that they are impacting change. And I'm ready to tell their stories. As we think about like why this is even important, in the grand scheme of things, this is another podcast, right? This is something that you could choose to listen to, you could choose not to. But what I think about impact is it can be small and it can still be mighty. There's a quote by Desmond Tutu, which I'm going to read because I don't want to flub it up. But he says, do your little bit of good where you are. And it's those bits of good put together that overwhelm the world. It means that what you're doing matters. What you're passionate about matters. Your decision to take road A versus road B because you know that road A is going to affect more than just you. It matters. And I think that so many of us lose sight of that because, number one, we are influenced by so many other factors that influence us to believe that it's all about the money that we're making. It's all about how we compare to our peers. Those are the things that matter. But I believe truly and deeply that if we all do our part, if we all influence positively the areas in which we have influence over, it can change the world.